Hey YouTube, how is it going today? In this video, I want to talk about NIO, ticker symbol NIO. This stock has been falling like a rock lately, but it's getting down to some pretty attractive levels technically on the chart. So I want to give you my opinion on this company and then go over their chart and let you know if I think they are a buy or not right now. Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to invest and trade in typically lower priced stocks. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks. Now, in case you're not familiar with NIO, NIO Limited designs, manufactures, and sells electric vehicles in the People's Republic of China, Hong Kong, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany. The company offers 5, 6, and 7-seater electric SUVs. It's also involved in the provision of energy and service packages to its users. In addition, the company offers charging solutions including Power Home, a home charging solution, Power Swap, a battery swapping service, Power Mobile, a mobile charging service through charging trucks, Public Charger, a public fast charging solution, and Power Express, a 24-hour on-demand pickup and drop-off charging service. NIO Limited has a strategic collaboration with Mobileye for the development of automated and autonomous vehicles and a collaboration agreement with various manufacturers for the manufacture of ES8, a 6 or 7-seater high-performance electric SUV. NIO Limited was founded in 2014 and is headquartered in Shanghai, China. All right, before I get into the chart, I do want to take a look at their fundamentals real quick in case you are unaware with how fast NIO is projected to grow. Right here, we're looking at the revenue, and in 2018, the revenue came in at $719 million. By 2019, it had grown to $1.12 billion, and then by 2020, it more than doubled to $2.49 billion. Now, the estimate for 2021 is to more than double again, all the way up to $5.38 billion. And then the estimate for 2022 is to almost double again to $8.5 billion. Now, if we scroll down a little bit here and look at their EPS, we can see their EPS is starting to go positive. And if I go down just a little bit further, we can see the estimate for 2023 is when they are expected to be earnings per share positive. All right, well, let's take a look at their balance sheet real quick. When a company is losing money, I like to see how much cash they have on hand to keep their operations going until they can get profitable. Now, NIO, of course, is in bed with the Chinese government, so I can't see the Chinese government letting these guys go under. Plus, NIO is a rather popular company, and I do think if they got into a cash crunch, they probably wouldn't have a hard time raising capital. But let's look at it anyway. If we look at their cash and cash equivalents, we can see it has risen all the way up to $5.9 billion. So that's still a lot of cash to keep this company going. And if we scroll down to their current liabilities, or I'm sorry, the total liabilities, we can see that is going to come in right around $3.5 billion. So that is a pretty decent sized number, but I don't think that's too crippling for this company. I think they should be fine going forward. And like I said before, when you have the Chinese government in your corner, you're probably going to be okay. So that's one of the other reasons why I think this company could be a good buy right now. All right, well, now I want to touch base on an article that came out today. And although this is kind of old news, it's just illustrating how it's affecting NIO's business because there is a semiconductor shortage for the automakers. And although I do like NIO's chart right now, I think it's going to get a little bit softer because of what's going on. In this article, it says that NIO battles semiconductor deficits and cuts Q1 output guidance. It says the auto industry is currently facing a major crisis in the form of a shortage in the supply of semiconductors. Various auto biggies are grappling with the semiconductor deficit, which is hindering their business operations and forcing them to idle production lines across the world. Amid the global chip crisis, NIO Incorporated has temporarily shuttered operations in the Jack NIO manufacturing plant for 5 days beginning March 29th. The shortage of semiconductor supply has taken a hit on the company's production for the first quarter of 2021. NIO now anticipates to deliver 19,500 2,500 cars in the March end quarter versus the prior guidance of 20,000 to 20,500 units. During the fourth quarter of 2020 earnings call, the CEO warned that the chip crunch will weigh in the company's near-term production volumes, while the China-based electric vehicle maker has production capacity around the world of 10,000 vehicles per month. Lee estimates the constraints in battery and chip supply would curb output to 7,500 units a month. All right, so let's jump over to my charting software and take a look at their current price action. If we draw a line from the peak that they made in early January all the way to the trough that they made just a few weeks ago, we can see it's been about a 50% haircut. Now, if you are a long-term believer in this company, these are the type of pullbacks you want to take advantage of to add to your position. In these super high growth stocks, they don't have very many 50% plus pullbacks. You know, if you look at Apple or Tesla or Amazon, there wasn't many of them along the way. And if you would have taken advantage of them, you would have been rewarded handsomely. Now, is this the time to be buying NIO? I personally think that it's going to be going a little bit lower, so I haven't bought any yet. I don't think that those delivery numbers that are going to be coming in light have been baked into the price of the stock yet, because a lot of these tech companies have been all pulling back. So I think it's just because the NASDAQ's been getting weak is why NIO's been pulling back so much. So I think when those delivery numbers start to come out, it's probably going to adversely affect the price of a lot of these EV stocks. So I am not loading up just yet, but it's getting pretty darn attractive. I'm very close to dipping my toe in the water and maybe starting a position in NIO because I do like those growth projections going forward. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, we can see it's barely holding above that 200 period simple moving average. It actually hasn't even came down and touched it yet, but there has been a lot of buyers coming around the low 30s to mid 30 range. So it's finding a lot of support in this area. So somebody likes it in the low 30s because they are loading up, because every time it gets down there, it immediately reverses. Now, the correction is not out of the water just yet, so it wouldn't be a bit surprised if this thing does touch the 200 period simple moving average right around $33. And if it does get down that low, I might just end up starting the position. And then if those delivery numbers do come out and they're weak and the market reacts to it in a negative manner, I'll probably just add to my position. But if we go to the hourly chart and take a little bit closer look how the chart is shaping up, we can see it's got a little bit of a sloppy head and shoulders pattern. Now, I don't think the head and shoulders patterns are super predictive, so when I see them, I don't put as much weight on them as I do other patterns, but I always do take notice of them. But you can see the neckline, I would estimate it's just below the neckline right now, so that is pretty bearish, even though it's not very far below it. But you do have that 200 period simple moving average on the daily chart just below these two price areas, so that you do have that support down there. Now, if it does break the 200 period simple moving average, I think we should get some more support down here right around 29, and that's probably where I would add more if I was in the stock. And then if you got a gift and it came all the way down here to 22, that would be the other area where I would like to be adding. But I do think NIO's chart is looking pretty attractive. Let me get this crap off here real quick. Do think NIO's chart is looking rather attractive, especially if it can get down to this 200 period simple moving average. It all depends on how the NASDAQ does, because this thing is pretty dependent on the NASDAQ. And of course, the other thing you have going on with these Chinese stocks is that looming threat to delist some of these Chinese stocks. So that could also have a negative effect if that stays in the news, but I don't think that's going to materialize. That's just my personal opinion. And if that does knock some of these good Chinese stocks down, I think that's going to be a fantastic buying opportunity. So I actually hope that the news does happen. I hope that they don't get delisted, but I hope the news does happen so I could scoop up some of these good Chinese stocks on the cheap. But if we go over to the weekly chart, I would expect to see some support once it gets down to this 50 period simple moving average, but I showed you on the hourly chart that you're also going to have some support there on the hourly chart right around $29. So this $29 area could be another great area of support, and if it does get down there, I probably definitely will be adding some NIO stock. The only thing that would make me not add NIO at those levels is if the market just went into a complete rollover. If the market goes into a complete rollover, I'm going to wait for the overall market to show me a bottom before I start loading up on some of these stocks. Because if the market does roll over, things are going to get cheaper, especially these NASDAQ stocks. So there's no need rushing it, because if they get cheaper, that's just a better price for us. All right, well, let's take a look at some of the other Chinese EV automakers. And the first one I want to show you is XPeng, ticker symbol XPEV. And we can see this one has pulled back tremendously from the high. So I think there's going to be some pretty good bargains to be had in some of these Chinese automakers if the market continues to go down, because some of these have already pulled back substantially. I think XPEV would be a pretty good bargain in the mid to low 20s, and hopefully it does go down there, because I'm going to give them a much closer look. The other one I want to show you is LI. We can see LI Auto Incorporated is pulling back tremendously also. It did make a high of right around $47, and if you go all the way to the trough of a couple of weeks ago, that was a 58% pullback. So you can see that a lot of these Chinese automakers, they're just hurting right now, especially with all the news that's been going on that I talked about. So I think these things are getting tremendously close to decent looking buys. I haven't bought any of these yet. Now, I do own Tesla, and of course we might as well take a look at Tesla if we're talking about EV automakers, and Tesla is getting pretty darn close to that 200 period simple moving average. I do own some Tesla, and I will definitely be adding if it does get down to the 520. I'll call it 525. I don't want to get too cute with the buy, but if it gets down to about 525, I am definitely going to add some because I think that's going to be a pretty good buying opportunity for Tesla stock. I don't know if it's going to get there. That's just wishful thinking, because I think there's going to be a lot of people wanting to buy Tesla if it gets down to right around this 200 period simple moving average. That's why I want to buy it just a little bit higher than that. I want to make sure that I get my share before it reverses from everybody else trying to buy it. But Tesla looks like it's definitely going to be a pretty good buy if it gets down there right around 5.25. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.